they are upticking because of these new phishing as a service models. They don't take any real technical expertise to deploy, and they can be bought for fairly cheap and basically wreak havoc.
This episode is made possible by OIT VoIP. Find your best-in-class revenue generation for MSPs all over the world. Learn more via the link in the show notes.
Good morning and welcome to the October 11th episode of MSP Dispatch, your source for news, community events, and commentary on the MSP channel. I'm Josh Hohbein, joined by nobody else today. It's just me filling in for Ray and Tony um, as they are battling the hurricane. So hopefully those guys are all right. In the meantime, I am on dry land and I am here to give you guys the news. In our first story today, Microsoft 365 accounts targeted by new Mamba 2FA AiTM phishing threat. From Cyber Insider, source Alex Lakander writes, cyber criminals are now using a new phishing as a service platform called Mamba 2FA, which employs adversary in the middle techniques to bypass multi-factor authentication on Microsoft 365 accounts. Discovered in May 2024, Mamba 2FA mimics Microsoft login pages to steal credentials in real time by relaying one-time codes and app notifications using the socket.io library. The phishing kit tricks victims with legitimate-looking pages and organization-specific branding. It supports both consumer and enterprise accounts, sending stolen credentials to attackers via Telegram bots. Mamba 2FA is marketed on Telegram starting at $250 for a 30-day subscription. To defend against these attacks, organizations should implement phishing resistance MFA and monitor authentication logs for suspicious activity. So I know we had talked last week about the Raccoon 365, which is also a new phishing as a service. And just being at an MSP, we're seeing a crazy amount of business email compromises, not only as ours, but just in the channel as a whole. In a couple peer groups, that's something I've asked, hey, is anyone else seeing a lot of these? And they are upticking because of these new phishing as a service models. They don't take any real technical expertise to deploy, and they can be bought for fairly cheap and basically wreak havoc. So, kind of covered in the notes here, the phishing resistance MFA. You can make different policies to where, hey, you can only log in from company owned devices via registered using some sort of MDM such as Intune. You can use little keys like hardware keys like this. But the best thing again is for everything that we put in place, there's going to be a way around it, unfortunately. So our best bet is to be able to respond as quickly as possible to these to limit the blast radius and recover as quickly as possible. So having eyes on glass or some sort of MDR monitoring for impossible travel or weird things going on with those logins, and then having a documented procedure where you're locking the account off, removing any MFA methods that may have been registered, resetting the password, things like that. So again, we're always trying to play catch up, but the better educated we are and the better prepared we are to respond to these is all we can do. So keep diligence and make sure you're educating not only your users, your clients, but everybody about these to be wary and no, don't click on those links. In our next story, we have 5 0 days in Microsoft's October update to patch immediately. This one comes from us from Jay over at Dark Reading. Microsoft's October security update addressed 117 vulnerabilities, including 2 actively exploited 0 days and 3 publicly disclosed flaws. CVE 2024-43573, a spoofing vulnerability in MS HTML, and CVE 2024-43572, a remote code execution flaw in Microsoft Management Console, demand immediate attention due to active exploitation. 3 other zero-day bugs in curl, Hyper-V, and WinLogon have not yet been exploited but still pose considerable risks. Additionally, 3 critical RCEs in Microsoft Configuration Manager, Remote Desktop Protocol, and Visual Studio Code extension also require swift patching. Organizations should prioritize these updates to defend against remote code execution, privilege escalation, and other potential threats. So, they're coming at us through our email, and now they're coming at us through every which way that they possibly can. um, updates. By now, I mean, we definitely should have automatic updating employed. Whether you do have a window, typically I've seen is a 7-day delay, because some of these Microsoft updates unfortunately do cause issues. It's not as common now as it was, I would say, back a few years ago, but they still can happen. But when these things come along that are highly exploitable, this is kind of where you need to pay attention and move up your patch window and download these as soon as business needs are available for you to download and install them. And if you can't install them for reasons out of dated, make sure that you're putting other risk mitigation factors in place. Whether they're on a separate VLAN, they don't have access to the internet, or they're separated somehow. But the vulnerabilities, I mean, really, it's patch your systems. These things are the patches are released for a reason, and we need to make sure not only our Microsoft's products are up to date, but any and all of our products. There's really not much more to say about that. Just update, update, update. So yeah, if you've learned anything from this episode, it's we're constantly under attack, and we need to always be diligent. So don't click on any links, and update your servers. It's all you do. That's the show in 2 sentences. So thanks for watching. And what we have coming up here, we have some community events I'll go over. We have the 7-figure MSP Live in-person event going on from October 15th to October 17th, located in San Antonio, Texas. All right, well, that is all for today. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out our Discord for more stories. You'll have the link here below. If there's a story you would like us to read, please post it in there. Or if you have any comments, we're constantly communicating in there and making some nice, friendly debates. So thanks for tuning in. This is Josh, and we'll see you guys next week.
If you found this episode eye-opening, catch more MSP Dispatch at 10 a.m. throughout the week. Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.